What's going on YouTube? Ryan Alex back from Dopamon again. Today we get to talk finally about Team Canada's announced roster, leaked announced roster for the upcoming 2022 Beijing Winter Olympic Games happening in just a couple weeks. There was a leak on the official. This is I don't know what a verified leak would be,
hmm
right? But this is the roster. It's in the same script as everything else has been. The Twitter account accidentally um, pushed it a day ahead. But
Someone's
whatever.
getting fired.
So yeah, someone might be in trouble, but we're gonna talk about it anyway because we want to, and the information's out there now. So why not?
A bunch of people saw it. I've seen a few sources with the same picture, so I feel like they all saw it, took a screenshot. I feel like an accurate leak.
Yep, I feel like this is it was apparently supposed to be announced at 11 a.m. tomorrow. So the fact that it's out, less 12 hours or so
Yeah.
uh, before it actually was supposed to come out, big whoop, whatever. Yeah, we're gonna get right into it. If you enjoy this kind of content, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Without further ado, I'll start off with the goalies, and this trio is actually reported on by Darren Dreger. As you said in your video, you made a prediction for all these. We can go over how accurate you were. You didn't take it 100%, just at face value or whatever. So you put
Mhm.
Devon Dubnyk in there instead of Devon Levi, but Devon Levi has made this team with Eddie Pasquale, Devon Levi, and Matt Tomkins. We had a little bit of a discussion before this about who the starting goalie would be. We ended up on Pasquale, um, simply because he's the veteran guy. He's 31 years old. I'll flip over. He's currently playing the KHL. Has a very good numbers over there. He's 916 for Lokomotiv, 19 wins, 1916 and 3 is his record. I was a big push. I was trying to push for Devon Levi. I like Devon Levi. Um, he's young. Obviously 20 years old as a goaltender is could be a little bit of a double-edged sword there. But at
Yeah, we
Northeastern,
disagree.
yeah, we disagreed on it. At Northeastern University in 24 games has a 948 save percentage and a 155 goals against average and a 964 last year's World Juniors. He's good. He's very good. Third guy being Matt Tomkins, played in Florida in the SHL. Good numbers over there as well. So I think we have a really good goalie tandem for Team Canada. Even if if it's Pasquale, it's him. If not, we got some good extras, good backups.
Now, the reason I didn't have Levi in there, I'm a little bit skeptical about putting a young goaltender against particularly experienced talent. There's a lot of, a lot of these guys, not on just on Canada, but on other teams that are, would be NHL talent. They're skilled enough to be, but have simply been aged out because, the NHL tends to favor younger players. Some of these guys are really good, and there's no practice that can prepare you for like the NHL or NHL level skill. And I think that Levi, if he gets put in there, it could be against one of the better teams. It might he might get a little bit overexposed. I don't think that's worth the risk. But like you said, they're also in a group with China, so having him face against China, maybe that just to get him on the international level, get one game under him. If he looks really good, maybe you do give him a shot against a team like Germany. But I just I'd be so worried about putting him out there. I don't think it's conducive to winning. I know I'm a huge fan of Pascal. I think that he's going to be the starter.
Yeah, I feel like Ty goes to the veteran, but I'd like to see Devon Levi
hmm
sneak in there or Matt Tompkins, either
hmm
one. Um, D Alex, first D pair.
The D. I like our first D pair because I predicted this D pair.
Yes.
On the left, Tyler Wotherspoon, and on the right, Maxim Noreau. I really liked Noreau as the top line D at the last Olympic Games. He was the alternate captain. He led in points. He's a defenseman that led in points. It's a big deal when when that happens. I feel like. And he's killing it. I think that he's going to play a huge part of this team as well. And I don't know if they've announced a captain. I guess that hasn't leaked yet, but he might be the alternate again. Maybe he's the captain this time. And on his left, Tyler Wotherspoon, the former Calgary Flames draft pick from 2011. Never really caught his foot in the NHL, but he's big, he's strong, and I think that the two of them together are a great top pair.
Yeah, he's got 10 points plus 21 in 28 games through the Utica Comets this year. And has played the last few in the AHL, so he's playing against AHL level competition, and he's ready to go. I think that's a
Mhm.
good top pairing. Got an offensive guy, got a more defensive guy. I think these two work out. Second pairing, and I'm super excited to see this kid in this competition. We have Owen Power and Jason Demers together. That's what we have predicted. Owen Power having an incredible year for the University of Michigan. Obviously, the first overall pick from last year, and any other normal years he'd be in the NHL already. He's a borderline NHL player, if you ask me. He's only 19 years old, big, strong, 26 points in 24 games, and had 5 points, including a hat trick in the 2 games in the World Juniors. I don't like putting a whole lot of stock into a couple games of a World Junior tournament, but like you have to at least acknowledge the fact that he was the first ever Canadian on that for the World Juniors to get a hat trick on defense. So
Mhm.
he's legit. And then we got Jason Demers. I thought he was older than his. I thought he was older than 33. I must be. Yeah, I always assume. I thought he was like 38, but he's 33 years old. Right shot defenseman. Late round pick of the San Jose Sharks 4 years ago, and only a season removed out of playing the NHL. Only had 4 points for the Arizona Coyotes, but I'm not going to hold that against them. The Arizona Coyotes have not been good the last couple years, and currently playing at Akbars Kazan. You said he went over there simply to get kind of back in playing shape. Oh,
Yeah,
in your last video,
exclusively. That was what he did it for.
yeah, he had 1 point over there. So I think that's a good pairing. Powers and Demers, you get a little bit of a veteran guy who's been in the show for a while, and a guy like Owen Power who has so much potential, so much possibility to do too well in this tournament, having already played a high level tournament against men in the World Championships last year as an 18-year-old. I'm pretty sure. Just I think Owen Power could work his way into a very big role in this tournament.
Absolutely. I agree. And that brings us to our third pair. On the left, we have Mark Barberio, and on the right, Alex Grant. Barberio is a guy that I had predicted in mine. I think I had him as one of the extra D, but he's another guy that I thought was a lot older. He's only 31, but he seems to have been aged out of the NHL. But I like what he brings. He is a good puck mover. He still has all the speed, all his puck skills, and I think he brings an aspect of leadership that I think is going to matter for this Canadian team. There's a clear missing like elite talent that's just because there are no NHL players, and I think that leadership's going to play a much bigger factor. He's been captain of his Swiss national team uh, for 2 years now, so I have I have a
Yeah, it
good
could be
feeling
part
about
of the
him.
leadership core for sure.
And on the right, Alex Grant, who he's been spending the past 4 years in Jokerit in the KHL. He's a former Pittsburgh Penguins pick in 2007. He is big. He's got a big shot, big body, and I like this third pair. They've got a lot of experience together.
Yeah, I like it too. Yeah, Barbario and Grant I think is a great third pair, and just to round out our defensemen, extra guys we could see in the lineup being Brendan Gormley and Matt Robinson. Brendan Gormley, former high pick, he was a 13th overall pick by the Phoenix Coyotes. Not the Arizona Coyotes, the Phoenix Coyotes, back in 2010. Never really stuck in the NHL. I think had a. I don't know if he really even played much in the NHL the past like a couple partial seasons. Um, for Phoenix, he played for Colorado for 26 games, and he played in the AHL. And now he's been overseas the last couple of years in different various leagues. I don't know whether I would have taken a guy like this just numbers wise, he doesn't stand out the page to me. But maybe they brought him for a reason that I'm not sure about. Matt Robinson, smaller defenseman, 35 years old, huge veteran presence back there. More of an offensive guy than the defensive guy. Has never played in the NHL, but has amassed a very, very solid career as an offensive defenseman in the KHL and the SHL, what used to be called the Elite Series. Um, yeah, 10 points in 35 games this year for SK St. Petersburg. And I think those are solid little extra guys to have.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a little bit surprised that Gormley made this team at all. All right, and that brings us to our forward group, doesn't it?
It does.
On our first pairing, for our first line, I love what we did here.
Yeah.
On the left, Mason McTavish. Down the middle, Eric Staal. And on the right, Corban Knight.
Ooh.
I know.
I love this line.
Seems like they need no introduction, but I'll give one. Eric Staal just signed with the Iowa Wild. He's got 5 points in 4 games, I think. He's been doing that just to get physically ready for the Olympics. Maybe he signs an NHL contract after. I think he is absolutely still NHL ready. And the past year, he signed with Buffalo. Then he got traded to Montreal. He just didn't get a chance, but I feel like he still has that NHL game in him, despite him last year not really getting an opportunity to show it. I think as a number 1 center for this team, it's Eric Staal for drafted first overall. It's another first. It's like second overall, but yeah, he's had such a long career and brings such a leadership factor, and there's no comparison I feel so far. Just any guy with any kind of career like this.
No, he's
for any other national team.
He's one of the best players in the Olympics. He's 100% the best player on Team Canada, even at 37. He will be the captain, I would assume. He's going to be a big part of leadership core. And underratedly, I haven't heard a lot of people talking about this enough, he's already an Olympic gold medal winner. He won as part of the 2010 Vancouver team for Team Canada. So he's bringing all of the experience you can possibly need. And he's going to be a huge part of this team, obviously. He'll be the top line center. And I love the guys we have with him, if you want to talk about them.
Right, Dad. He's part of that triple gold club, right? Yeah. He's won so many. Yeah.
He's won everywhere.
Yeah, on his left, we have Mason McTavish. He was another junior from that Team Canada World Junior team that got canceled. I'm super happy that he's going to play here. Despite he scored a lot of those World Juniors, and I still feel like we didn't get enough of him. He can bring so much more, and I think on a line with Eric Staal, it's going to be crazy. Of course, he was drafted 3rd overall by the Anaheim Ducks, which means we have a 1st, a 2nd, and a 3rd overall pick on this team with no NHL players.
Yeah. We have an underratedly crazy season for Mason McTavish, starting in Anaheim, San Diego, being dropped down to Peterborough, and then recently getting traded to Hamilton and now going to Beijing, and he was in Alberta for the World Juniors. Mason McTavish has been all over the map this year.
And he's proved that he can play at the NHL level. So here at playing on the first line here, I'm not surprised. And on the right, we have Corban Knight, who is the top point scorer among Canadians in the KHL right now. He is killing it with Avangard Omsk.
Yep.
I really like this kid, and I think he's in a career year, and I hope that maybe this is a contract year for him in the KHL, that he gets another chance to play in the NHL.
Yeah, it could be. We'll see how many guys end up getting contracts after this tournament. There's a few last time that ended up getting second chances. Brian Boyle being a big one for Canada and stuff. So yeah, we'll see. Second line, I like too. I like this second line quite a bit as well. We have Adam Tambellini on the left, Jordan Weal down the middle, and Josh Hosang on the right. Now, you talked about Josh Hosang. You didn't have him in your predictions because I tipped you off that he got hurt in the last game for the Marlies. He was diagnosed with a concussion. But I guess they've assessed it, and within a couple weeks he will be playing and back in playing shape and over there in Beijing. So we put him high in our lineup because Josh Hosang has been playing very well this year. Adam Tambellini, On the left here, playing for Rogla in SHL. 27 years old, 6'4". He's a big, big forechecker, and he's going to be, provide a lot of offense. He's over a point per game in the SHL this year, and he has actually played most recently, I believe you said, at the Channel One Cup with Jordan Weal, who is
Yeah, they were a pair together.
yeah, he's our second line center. They have a lot of good center depth. I love our first line, but after the first line, I'm kind of like, they could go a couple different ways with who plays center on this team.
Hmm.
Jordan Weal, former third round pick, lots of NHL experience, 30 points in 36 games for Akbars Kazan. Most recently, he's played in the NHL just a couple of years ago with Montreal. So a lot of NHL experience there. And Josh Hosang having a very, very good year with the AHL Toronto Marlies. Former first round pick, 28th overall, has 20 points in 27 games for the Marlies. Like I said, has gotten hurt recently, but we'll see what happens there.
And like you said, they played together, Weal and Tambellini. That's the only connection that we could make. When we do the other national team rosters, we're constantly looking at, tournaments, which team they've played on, and we're finding that a lot of guys are like, two or three guys are picked because they play together, and it's easy to put them on a line. Here, we're just there's really none of that. So when you talk about like the importance of chemistry on other teams, this one is doesn't really have it. That they're going to rely a lot more on just plain old skill.
Yep.
All right, and that leads us to our third line. We have on the left Daniel Carr, down the middle Ben Street, and on the right Landon Ferraro. And I really like this line. I think this is a like a real great energy line. All three guys bring an incredible amount of energy, and I don't know what the skill level is going to be at the Olympics. How much that's going to play a factor. If these guys can just bring a ton of energy and will the puck into the net, they might be one of the more productive lines in this tournament and keep and put Canada into medal contention. I think that these three are going to have to be really step their game up. Uh, Ben Street in particular, he's a guy that I was gonna have in my predictions, and afterwards, felt bad not having him in. I think he's a guy that kind of bounced up and down between the NHL and the AHL. I thought that that there always was an NHL game for him in there, but just couldn't make it for some reason. Was always on like a bad team. He was on Detroit after they were good. He was on New Jersey when they just had like a weak season. So maybe things turn around because he is on the maybe he gets a look and an NHL contract. Maybe he comes back to North America. And
Yeah,
on the
maybe.
left,
Yeah, some of these guys could do that for sure.
mhm. And on the left, Daniel Carr. He plays. He's a little bit smaller, but he plays really big for his size. As an energy guy, I've always really liked him. Uh, Most recently, he played with the Washington Capitals. He only played 6 games last year, and then I guess he decided that instead of being a 13th, 14th forward, he'll play a bigger role in the Swiss National League, where he's tearing it up right now, and with the HC Lugano, played a huge part with them for the Champions House League. So he's a big part of that team. And on the right, Landon Ferraro is a former second round pick by the Detroit Red Wings in 2009. His father, of course, is Ray Ferraro. So deep family connections there. But he's been spending the past 3 years in the DEL.
Yeah. All right, for fourth line, we'll move on real quick. Fourth line, we have more of a veteran presence line, which I kind of like. We have Daniel Winnik, Eric Odell, and Adam Cracknell. All these guys are a little bit older. They're gonna play more of a you know, role game and not a big minutes kind of game. Winnick has played a lot of center. He could be the center on this line. We decided to put him on the wing. Good at faceoffs too, so he could a lot of times two wingers end up having faceoff experience. So depending on which side of the ice, who's ever on their strong side, they end up taking the faceoff. 42 points in 36 games this year. Played in the NHL a bunch as a bottom six guy, so that's where we have him. Eric Odell, playing for Dynamo Moskva, and the KHL as a right shot, two-way center. Played in the Olympic Games for Canada last time in 2018. Had 2 points there, so he's bringing some Olympic experience as well. And Adam Cracknell, 36-year-old right-hand shot winger, another hard-working grinder with some good AHL experience. He's got 23 points in 28 games in the AHL. So This, I think, is a great little roll line, a great grinder line. I think you could do a lot with it. I think it'll end up getting a lot of defensive zone stuff. And yeah, we'll see.
You actually gave me a little bit of flack for having Cracknell on my prediction, so I'm a little bit glad to see him here
Yeah.
actually make the roster. And that brings us to our extra forwards. Our first one's Jack McBain. He was a third round pick in 2018, so he's only 22 years old. He's really young. He's obviously older than McTavish and Owen Power, but he's one of the youngest on this roster. He plays right now for Boston College in the NCAA, and he is killing it right now. So I'm not sure what kind of role he ends up playing. I think that, maybe he gets one or two, maybe one game in there to see if he works on a line, and if he kind of outperforms somebody, then he gets to be a mainstay, but I'm not sure how much of a chance he'll actually get. And then our 14th forward is David Desharnais. He's a guy that we had a really hard time slotting into this roster because we want him to play, a top six kind of offensive role, but there wasn't really a spot for him, so we couldn't really find a spot for him in the bottom six. So we just have him as an extra forward. Of course, he spent his whole NHL career, almost his whole career with the Montreal Canadiens. I thought he scored a lot, and I'm a little bit surprised the way that he left the NHL. I thought that he'd still have a few more years in him, but he's spent 1 year in playing for Avangard Omsk in the KHL, and spent the past three playing for the Swiss National League.
Yeah, it's a career high 52 points in 79 games in 2013-14, but he is 35. I could see him possibly being the second line center instead of Jordan Weal and kind of bumping everyone kind of staggered up that lineup. I'd keep Tambellini and Weal together, but if you want to break up, like put Carr on the second line with Desharnais and Hosang, I wouldn't be against that.
Mhm.
We might see a little bit of mixing up, trying to get Desharnais in the lineup, but for us, this is what we like. We'll see what Canada ends up doing. I really, really like this team. I think this might be one of the better teams in the Olympics that's been announced so far. We have already done a bunch of teams on the channel: Sweden, Finland, Slovakia, Czechia, Switzerland, and the U.S. Is that it?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and we're going to be doing the rest of the teams as soon as we can, as soon as they're announced. The Team Russia was also announced today, so look out for that video. That team is
And
also
Latvia.
going to be very good, and Latvia today, and we're waiting on confirmation on Denmark's team. Um, a lot of these teams are getting announced. I'm probably most excited to hear, to see the players on Russia, and then Team China as well. I'd like to see what they end up making official. But yeah, you have anything to say
So
about this
Ryan,
team?
yeah, anybody that you feel should have made this roster but didn't?
Yes, I'm glad you asked me that. I think that Max Verano of Lexens IF
Mm-hmm.
was a huge, huge snub, and I have his EP up. 26-year-old, and he has been ripping his 21 goals in 32 games with Lexans. He's just been playing so well over there. He's so hot over there, and I think that's a huge snub as far as I'm concerned. I think he easily could have bumped a guy like Adam Cracknell off this team, which I'm not super high on a guy like that. Veteran guy, sure, but you have Eric Staal, you have Daniel
Mm-hmm.
Winnik, you have a lot of experience on this team. I don't think you also needed Adam Cracknell. I think Max Verano could have played anywhere in your lineup with speed and a good shot, and he could have been a huge player for this team. That's my biggest snub. Do you have anybody, or is that kind of
Yeah,
along
well,
the
I
same lines?
completely agree. I had Max Verano. I had him in my predictions. I thought I wanted to play with McTavish. I thought he was an obvious top six. I can't. I'm so completely baffled that he didn't make this team. But also, Brandon Peary. He just signed an AHL contract. Maybe didn't get enough looks. Maybe they weren't sure. But I thought he's been playing pretty well. So I'm surprised he didn't make it either. Between that, that's it. That's it for me.
Yeah, the other one I'm a little bit surprised on is Devon Dubnik not being involved on this team, but I guess they took the hot guy Devon Levi, kind of bumped him out of the lineup, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
They just said Devon, and they're like, "Oh, Levi, huh, huh, huh." You just do something there.
But yeah, let us know who you think should have been on this team, who was left off. What do you think the lines are going to be? What are your predictions for this team? Are they a gold medal favorite? I think they're a medal contender for sure. Because there's no NHL players, it won't be as much of a domination through this tournament from Canada as we've seen in recent years. But I still think that Canada has an opportunity to do some damage with this team. They got a lot of good players, a lot of firepower, and some pretty solid goaltending. So we'll see.
Prediction? You gonna give a prediction here?
We'll do our predictions at the end once all the teams are announced. I'll say that this is definitely a medal contending team. I think the only other team that I have said that for has been Sweden so far. I might have said it for Finland. I can't remember. But yeah, we'll go through it at the end, whatever the last video is. We'll give our medal predictions for this tournament. But I'm obviously Canadian. We're both Canadian, so we're both biased toward this team. So I'm gonna have them in my medal contention either way. Canada for gold. Let's go. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you want more dope content, and we'll see you soon. Peace.